So this is lesson 1, unit rates, and the essential question is how do you find a unit rate? So at the at the end of the class or at the end of this lesson, you should be able to find a unit rate. So we're going to start with some vocabulary, and there's two terms that you're going to see a lot through here. So one of them is a rate, and a rate is a ratio that compares two quantities with different units. So you're comparing two things and the units are different. So for example, here our rate is 12 miles in 2 hours. So the units are miles and hours. Those are two different units. The other term that you need to know is a unit rate. And a unit rate is a rate, but it's simplified to a denominator of 1. So this example right here is a unit rate because our denominator, remember that denominator is the number on the bottom. The denominator is 1. Now, sometimes with the unit rate, actually I should say a lot of times with the unit rate, you're not going to see it as a fraction like this. You're just going to see it as 6 miles per hour. I'm going to abbreviate it as MPH. And remember that when you have a whole number, that there always is a fraction. There's always that invisible 1 on the bottom, because 6 over 1 or 6 divided by 1 is the same as 6. So when you see this whole number, know that that is a unit rate. Down here at the bottom are some common unit rates that we're going to see. So miles per hour is one of them, and I'm always going to abbreviate that as MPH. Miles per gallon, and I'll abbreviate that as MPG. And then price per pound, that's something that you'll see. I don't have a specific thing for that, but that's the same as unit price or unit rate. It's interchangeable. And for miles per gallon, sometimes the question will ask you what's the gas mileage. And then for miles per hour, a lot of times that'll say speed. So one of the first examples that we're going to do with unit rate is finding the unit price. So price means the money. So in this example here, it costs $9.88 for 25 bags of chips. So you can see right here, this is like a big pack of chips. And we need to find the unit price. And the unit price is the same as rate. So in order to do that, all we need to do is divide. And whenever one of our units is money, we always divide money first. So we have $9.88, and then we're going to divide that by 25 because it's $9.88 and it's 25 bags. And for this lesson, you can use a calculator. So the top number goes in your calculator first. So I'm dividing 988 with 25. Now, when I do that, I get a long number. This is what I get. And so when we're finding unit price, a lot of times it's going to tell us to round to the nearest hundredth. And that's why we spent time working on rounding. So remember that hundredth is this second place right here. So to round to the nearest hundredth, we're looking next door. And next door is 5 or more. So that's going to increase our score. So this is going to become 0.40. And this is money. And we want to always include our unit of measure. So that means that it's 40 cents per bag. So if we were to buy this big old thing of Takis in bulk, it would equate to 40 cents per bag. That is the unit price. Now, one of the reasons why unit price is so helpful is because when you're out shopping, you can use unit price or unit rate to find the better deal, and it'll save us money. So here we have two different size bags of Takis, and we need to find which one is the better deal. Now, in the past, some of my students automatically say this one is the better deal because it costs less. Well, we can't just look at the price of the item. We have to compare it by price per ounce. So for this first size, I'm going to divide. Remember, we always divide money first. $2.24 by 9.9 ounces. So in my calculator, I'm putting in the price first. And I get a really long number. So I'm going to just write down the first four numbers. And I'm going to round this to the nearest hundredth, because when we're talking about money, we generally round to the nearest hundredth. So here's the hundredths place. I'm taking my place. I'm looking next door. Since that next door is 5 or more, then I'm going to increase my score. So this is going to be 23 cents per ounce. Now I need to do the same thing for the bigger size. So money divided by the size. So in my calculator, I'm doing $4.42 divided by 20. And this is what I get. I'm going to round to the nearest hundredth. So here's the hundredth. I'm looking next door. And so since it's 4 or less, I'm going to let it rest. So this would be 22 cents an ounce. So these right here, these are the numbers that we're comparing. And so 22 cents an ounce is less. So that means that this size right here, the 20-ounce bag, is going to be the better deal. That would be our answer. Another type of unit rate that I mentioned earlier is average speed. So when we're talking about speed, we're talking about, in this case, miles per hour. So here's a car, and it can go 240 miles in 4 hours. So we want to find the speed. So speed means mph, miles per hour. Now, here's a little note. Whenever one of your units is time, you're always going to divide that times second. So 240 miles is going to go on top. 4 hours is on the bottom. Okay, so hours is time. Time is always on the bottom. So I'm dividing the top number in my calculator first, and I get 60. And what that unit means is miles per hour, which is mph. So that means that for every hour that that car is driving, it could go 60 miles. Another type of unit rate is gas mileage. And in this case, gas mileage is usually abbreviated as MPG. So here is a Lamborghini, and it can go 300 miles on 20 gallons of gas. So 300 miles is on top, and 20 gallons is on bottom. So in my calculator, I'm going to put in 300 first. Top number always goes in first, and 20 will go in second. And I come out with 15. And our abbreviation here is MPG, miles per gallon. So that means for every gallon of gas that the Lamborghini can go 15 miles.